Hello and welcome to a Smurd P video, and today we have Dramatic Capture Series Nemesis Bridge Transformers, which is Megatron, Soundwave and Shockwave with Laserbeak. And we have this beautiful artwork on the front, which I absolutely adore. Takara Tomy in the corner, and then around the side we have them in their robot modes and then their art mode, so you can see everything that comes with this pack. Very simply, underneath the cover you have this beautiful pack, and then you can see the Nemesis ship there, which I guess is the idea. Nemesis Bridge, you got the captain and his lieutenants on there. Personally, I feel like you could have gone one step further and shoved in Starscream as well. Then you would have had that core team, I feel, core Decepticon team. Those four world-renowned characters that everybody identifies with G1 automatically when they think to G1, in my mind. Okay, here they are out of the packaging, and I just wanted to put them straight into position with Megs on the throne, Soundwave ejecting Laserbeak, and Shockwave with his gun pointed out. Now, we have seen all three molds before released, and these are, it feels to me like these have just been repainted and reused, and in my mind, I'm gonna say this now, no real improvement other than the paint job. There is, you know, yeah, it's quite simply that. No improvement on anything. So off the bat, when I look at Megs, so let's bring Megs up. I mean, that is gorgeous. Now I feel like I've got an issue with the legs. The legs feel like they are slightly loose, which is quite frustrating for a new figure that the legs are already failing. So let me just shift a little bit. Let's get onto the front, because the front's the easy bit. This is exactly the same front as what we got with Starscream. We've seen this before, don't get me wrong. Beautiful details, beautiful there, and if you want, you can store weapons on the back, nice and easy, and Megs does sit in it quite all right. So that is decent. So see what I mean? I feel like this is, if I remember rightly, the Earthrise mold, just with more G1 cards on there. So they've given him this, which is pivotal for that tank mode, so he has to have this. However, for this to be the best of the best Megatron, in my mind, why on earth would you not give us the mace that you did with that Centurion pack? You know, you're trying to re-release this figure in a more G1 format, which is fantastic. Why wouldn't you do that? Surely it's not that difficult to release that tiny part, etc. Maybe charge a few quid. I don't think we would have been bothered. This cost enough as it is. You know, if you remember when this figure was released originally, in bear in mind it wasn't as G1 accurate in terms of colors, but it was about 23 quid originally. And I think also with Shockwave was probably a similar price, if I remember right. I could be wrong. Now, Netflix Soundwave was probably the most costly at £40 when they released him, and I can't remember if he came with a second cassette or just one cassette. I cannot remember that. So we have Megatron. We have this beautiful silver on here and this sort of G1 colors, Decepticon logo, and look at those eyes. They are menacing. There's some beautiful detail on there, and we have this beautiful ion cannon which he can use to destroy Autobots, and it is really decent. You know, I'm surprised that they've gone through this route rather than the Studio 86 route, because you would expect all three characters to be released via that route anyway, but they've gone through this route. We probably will get a Studio 86 Megatron at some point as well. I love the metallic colors on this. I mean, you do have pins throughout this, which, okay, is disappointing, but not the end of the world for an almost perfect Megatron. I guess the other thing that, I guess if they do a Studio 86 Megatron, they've got to go with that original art mode. They've got to go with the gun now. I know that, I can't remember from a toys perspective whether they've not been able to do that for many years because of violence, etc., or they think it stimulates violence. Trust me, Megatron transforming into a gun does not create violence, you know, compared to a lot of things that these kids are exposed to these days. But I think it looks great. Other than the few gripes which I mentioned, I mean, okay, it would have been nice to get some better articulations on the hands as well. You know, that's a bit of a shame. Articulation wise, now I've already mentioned the legs are you know, driving me nuts. So you can move it up and the head can move down. The arm can go all the way around. You can lift up like so. He's got the single pivot there. No movement on the hands, and they are quite bulky. You can swivel on the waist, nice and easy. You can do the splits. You got swivel actually on that piece there. You got swivel on the thigh. This bit goes up like that. Like I said, I've had quite a few issues with that releasing like that, and you got a little up and down like so. So he has nice articulation, I feel. I feel over time maybe, I mean, I hope that I'm just the only one that's got some gammy legs, but I hope that nobody else gets it as well, because you know that's quite frustrating as somebody who collects these and wants them perfect on their shelf. Okay, next up is Soundwave, and this was always one of my favorite figures that I've picked up from Hasbro over the years. Obviously, I've not kept him long term, but I always enjoyed getting Soundwave from Netflix. In fact, I probably brought several over a period of time and sold and bought again. So yeah, very foolishly, but you know, that's me. There are the lead piping eyes in there. Oh, that was really good, wasn't it? That doesn't happen very often. So you can see, you know, that I do find frustrating. I would have liked just painted red eyes for this figure. I feel like that would have enhanced it. The detail on here is absolutely stunning. You got Laserbeak in there, the rewind section there, Decepticon sign. It looks very, very glorious. You have this beautiful gun, which you can obviously collapse as well and place on the back like so. You have the gun up here, which you can take off as well, which I almost forgot. You can put that around there. You have the eject button, and literally it can fly now. But you can see the rewind section in there, behind there, which is very, very 80s, very awesome. Beautiful here. I mean, you got beautiful pieces here for the transformation when you turn him into a Ghetto Blaster. This is probably the biggest annoyance for this bit, but you know, I feel like if they were redoing this Studio 86, they will find a way to fix this. I really do hope they do that. I also hope that they ditch these pieces here, which are not really required. I don't think there's a requirement in the ART mode. I will get into the ART mode and have a look at that, but I don't feel like there is a requirement in terms of that. So yeah, that's a bit weird. Articulation wise, nice articulation here. Head can go round. I mean, just I just look at that head sculpt. That is gorgeous. Like I said, the eyes are the biggest letdown of this figure. Like that, like so. Also, if this is meant to be like the ultimate pack, it probably isn't meant to be the ultimate pack. I think like they could have given us the other cassettes. I mean, let's be honest, they've just released most of them in the 86 thing. How difficult would it have been to add at least the core 4, so to speak? You know, okay, you can argue that Rat Bat should factor in here somewhere, but you know, I feel like they could have done better in my mind, just my opinion. And then you do have this lame gun, which I never understood what the intent with this was, but you know, it is there. You can fold it up, just stick that on the back as well, like so, as you do when he's in Get a Blaster mode. Once again, revisiting this figure, you know, just getting Laserbeak out and transforming them into this great little bird, which is very, very nifty and just sits very nicely. There's a little peg hole there, which you just plug in, is great. And you can get that into a scene where Soundwave is giving Laserbeak instructions to go off and, you know, do reconnaissance, etc. And sorry, I probably said that word completely incorrectly. So just taking it off, you know, I mean, there's the little piece there, and you can pop that in as well. You know, you can probably try and do that with the hand, just gently. I mean, it is achievable. I mean, look at that, very achievable. And then you just see this, just looks great on top of there as well. I probably didn't show the cassette off actually very well. You know, that's great, absolutely gorgeous. You got a nice little Decepticon sign there. You know, I mean, perhaps you can argue that, well, if you made that a little bit bigger, you can get some more detail on there. Add some little guns on there, would have been pretty cool, you know. But I think it does all right. The fact that it can transform and go into the position that it's meant to go into. But, you know, we saw it a couple of years back. They did the Beast Wars Transmetal Ravage. Actually, it wasn't a Transmetal, but they did a Beast Wars Ravage. And they ultimately threw in a cassette Ravage, which was actually looked really good in the robot mode. So I feel like they could easily do a pack like that and just share it around with little cassettes to go in there if you really want. I mean, but you know, I mean, it's great to be able to do that, I think, in my opinion. And obviously, if I bring in Megatron as well, so I don't need to do these things on camera because they don't always pan out very well, but you can certainly get Laserbeak there, just perched on the arm quite nicely. Helps if I actually get them in shot. There we go. Perched in quite nicely. Once again, also feeding into the superior, the ultimate master, the mighty Megatron, like in the movie, which was a fantastic scene. I love that scene. Brilliant scene. So let's look at Shockwave before we start transforming these characters. Okay, then on to Shockwave. So we've got these beautiful Decepticon Sigmas on the arms. Got the beautiful gun here as well. I think that's pretty much it. I don't think it changes out, and there's certainly no hands to put in place. And then you've got this nice little wire that goes around the back like so. You do have the lead piping on the eye, so which I don't think it maybe not as pivotal as Soundwave in terms of how it looks, but like that, it's not clear defined. So I mean, the detail on this is absolutely gorgeous. I love the tones of the purples. It's got this sort of like a cream, sort of grayish to offset it a little bit all the way around. And then obviously the backpack, which turns into the gun piece, which is very, very nice. It is, once again, a beautiful figure. And I don't think I actually managed to get the purple Shockwave when it was released originally. I think I completely missed it out. And I ended up buying, is it the gray one? And it had like additional stuff on it, if I remember rightly. I think that was the only one that I ever grabbed since the new series. So I can sort of go all the way around. I feel like they released a purple one. Maybe I'm going mad. I feel like there is a purple one out there already. You have that extra lift up as well for the arms. Single there. There is movement on the hand. Nice 360 underneath there. Just do be cautious of this piece under here. I feel like it clears it completely, but you know, always good to be sure, etc. Lift up, you can kick back, swivel, lift up like so. A little bit of movement on the foot, but nothing to write home for. So some nice articulation to get the figure into some great positions when setting up your scenes. So from that perspective, I feel like he is very, very cool. So let's start the transformations of these figures. Have a closer look at those. Okay, Soundwave's ART mode. So once again, I feel like it's always been quite well done. It doesn't knit exactly together. You do have some minor gaps here, and it doesn't always sit flush. And maybe it's me. Maybe I just haven't got it to the point where it's exactly flush, etc. You know, but I think it does an incredible job. I feel like these two pieces stand out not being silver. With these two pieces as well. I don't know why they didn't make them silver as well, because that would have just, maybe it was just for a different blend perhaps, but it seems a bit odd to me. You got nice play buttons forward, etc. Nice Decepticon logo there. You can obviously press that. Once again, Laserbeak ejects. We've seen all this before, so you can have it like that if you like. On the back is probably where it isn't as compact as you would like. I think they do quite a good job, but I mean, you've got these two guns as well, and they just sort of sit out. Oh no, I don't know what they could have done differently to make this more etc., other than having the arms separate and break into different panels, which would be very complicated and maybe would hinder the robot mode, etc. But you know, I've always been generally quite comfortable that this mode achieves what I expect it to achieve, and you're only, if you're having it in this mode, you're only ever going to have it in the front. I feel like the colors are very nice. You got a nice record bat sign there. Now I am from a generation where I do remember cassettes and not ghetto blasters, cassette players. I do remember them, etc., but I probably don't remember them in detail. I was born in the 80s, so it's I probably before I knew it, they were moving on to little CD players, etc. But I do remember having a couple of these. In fact, I do remember I still had one in 2004, because I used to work in London, so I used to, in the UK, so I used to travel to London listening to, I'm not going to tell you what I'm listening to, it's totally embarrassing, but I used to listen to a little cassette player until, Apple players, whatever came out, etc. So anyway, and we do everything on our phones these days, don't need to do anything like that at all. So yeah, so a great start. Love Soundwave, love this ART mode. I remember this transformation very fondly. Earthrise, I think, was one of the first Transformers I picked up, and bear in mind that I hadn't collected Transformers for many years before, because I generally wasn't interested in probably what I thought was crap that Hasbro were chucking out. Don't get me wrong, they still give us crap sometimes, but they do so well on another level compared to what they did when I used to collect Transformers many years ago. So I remember getting Earthrise Megatron as my first Transformer, probably 4 years ago, I guess that was. Wow, 4 years ago. And you know, I've been collecting and reviewing. I remember the transformation, actually, to me, because I hadn't transformed a figure for a very long time, I found it complicated, but today it was with ease that I transformed this figure. I didn't really have to think anything off it. But yeah, I think, you know, I mean, once again, they still could have tried to improve this mode. Like I said, it's the paint job is the only thing that they've improved with these figures. They've not tried to adjust any of the transformations. They are still the same transformations. The only difference with these is they are probably, I mean, other than this isn't close to G1 at all, because G1 was a gun. But they have tried to get them as close to G1 as they possibly can in terms of looks. That is the only thing that enhances these figures. Plus, the other part is some of these figures are now very difficult to get. So if you're just coming in now, I mean, I've been in that position many times being a collector. I've come into something very late, and I've had to spend that little bit extra. So when they re-release these figures, even though for them it's about making money, it is appreciated from my point of view, because I can see that actually they're trying to help those that have missed out, rather than spend $200 perhaps on what this figure would cost randomly in the wild. I'm just sprouting news out loud. I remember Soundwave being close to 100 quid compared to the 40 quid when you originally brought him. You know, this is an opportunity to get a set of free, hard to find figures. Soundwave, like I said, I think I only brought that gray figure that one time, and that was basically a repaint off, well, that. I never got the purple version, which for me is, you know, which is great for me to grab this today, because I'm absolutely loving holding that figure in my hand, because it is a beautiful figure. So from that perspective, these are great. So this does have wheels, so you can roll them a little bit. Mine is making a weird noise. Why is mine making a weird noise? I don't know. I think that's the wheels. So you can see it's quite compact inside, nicely and easy. I feel like, you know, the fact that you can move the turret very carefully around is very, very nice thing. I still think that they did a fabulous job in terms of this part, feeding into this and making it more of a really good looking tank. The only bit that lets down, I mean, the front side looks absolutely phenomenal. You look at that, and then you look at that. I mean, don't get wrong. I mean, why didn't they just give us a bigger panel to cover that whole section in there? Why didn't they find a way to, you know, rotate these little feet in or something? I don't know. I'm sure there are ways that they could achieve these things. You know, these guys are that create these transformers are very intelligent. They're very smart at what they do with these transformations, and sometimes they deliver master class transformations that look absolutely stunning, both in robot mode and AUT mode. But we've seen time and time again where either one suffers. You know, you either get a great AUT mode or you get a great robot mode. You know, never the same. I know it's easier for me to say that. I'm not a designer, of Transformers, so it's easy for me to say these things. And I still think they do a tremendous job, in my opinion. So anyway, let's move on to Shockwave. Okay, so the transformation doesn't, same with Megatron, doesn't really take it to a G1 look, because the G1 transformation was more probably like a gun. So once again, they sort of divvied around it, etc., and created similar sort of look, except without creating a gun. Now, in theory, I mean, this is meant to be like the spaceship. I mean, if you look in there, that's meant to be like Shockwave's eye sort of thing, and he's sort of piloting himself, etc. But if you do transform it, if you do move it around like that, you do, in theory, achieve the gun. Now, I think the only thing that they could have done better, and they probably would have had to be very solid, because I guess these figures and toys have to be approved to be released to children, because that's what they're designed for. That's what they say they're designed for, even though they know that adults are buying these willy-nilly, because we're all big geeks, and, you know, we love collecting toys as adults. You know, most of these figures are brought by adults. You know, you question whether would Hasbro be a successful business without the adult market? Perhaps not, you know, but they play on it as well so well. So why wouldn't you just cheekily find a way that you can, these legs can drop down just around enough to create that gun? But I feel like they've done enough job for me to be satisfied to say, actually, do you know what, that's pretty close to Shockwave. I mean, in theory, you've got the little handle. It's a very small handle, but you do actually achieve the gun mode, which in reality is actually very cool, in my opinion. And you know, this was, Shockwave was the one that I was probably really excited to certainly have a closer look at when doing these reviews. So let's just bring all three of them in together. We got Soundwave in the middle, we've got Big Cheese there, and then we've got Shockwave there, and they look absolutely fantastic together. Absolutely fantastic. Very, very happy, very impressed. Even, like I said, even though I've had these molds before in various forms, they are still very much enjoyable to have once again to transform, mess around, and show off to you. And I hope if you've missed out, you're going to be able to pick these up with ease. just before I wrap this up, I just wanted to bring in Studio Series 86 Starscream just to put in against Megatron's Shockwave and Soundwave, because generally it's a beautiful mold, and I generally felt like it could have easily been dropped in with this set quite nicely, and we probably still would have gone ooh gaga and brought it again. So, you know, it looks great against these things, and this is a beautiful set. I love Soundwave, I love Shockwave, and Megatron, even though I've got a few choice words to say about the accessories, etc., you know, it looks great. It is a great G1 representation. Until we get a Studio 86 version, this one would fit nicely on your shelf. I mean, you know, once again, just look at that head sculpt. You know, they all look absolutely gorgeous, and, you know, they will terrorize you if you let them. So anyway, thank you for watching. If you like my channel, please support me by subscribing. Thank you to those already subscribed to my channel. Look after yourself, and as always, embrace geekiness. Take care. Goodbye.